Someone actually relied solely on their own strength 600 years ago. He shattered the luck of a dynasty all by himself. This person named Zeke was active in the early days of the founding of the Defying dynasty. At that time, the former dynasty's rulers were corrupt and incompetent. Officials were corrupt and decadent, and the powerful families exploited the common people. Wars broke out in various places in the Central Plains, and rebel forces seized control. At that time, the royal government and the rebel forces in various regions engaged in a protracted tug-of-war lasting more than a decade. The common people living at the bottom of society were extremely impoverished and could hardly bear it. Zeke, a second-rank Great Confucian scholar level, traveled outside for 3 years and witnessed the dire living conditions of the people with his own eyes. With his heart full of anger, he brought the grievances of the people to the great Zhou capital city, and using his own body, he shattered the limited good fortune of the great Zhou dynasty. And then Defying established a country. He pacified the wars and brought peace to the 4 seas. Aaron Su looked skeptical. Is the second-rank Great Confucian scholar level really that powerful? I didn't see such impressive performances from the 3 Great Confucian scholars. Nico Su instinctively replied, "Who told you that their teachers are at the second-rank Great Confucian scholar level? They are only at the rank 4 noble person level." Great Confucian scholar has 2 meanings. One refers to scholars who are knowledgeable and prestigious, while the other specifically refers to the second-rank level of Confucianism. The 3 Great Confucian scholars at the academy belong to the former category. Aaron Su asked in confusion, "Does Yunlu Academy have a second-rank Great Confucian scholar?" Nico Su shook his head regrettably and said, "In the past 200 years, at most, we have only produced third-rank fate-defying level scholars at our academy. The head of the academy is also a third-rank fate-defying scholar." Aaron Su shared his evaluation with Nico. The personalities of those 3 teachers seem a bit exaggerated and not serious, lacking a bit of steadiness. Nico pondered for a moment. They didn't used to be like this before. Perhaps it is related to the third-rank fate-defying level after the noble person level. Gavin Yang used to be the same way as well. Suddenly, his personality changed recently. It's like he has become a different person. I heard the teacher say that Gavin Yang is just half a step away from being fate-defying. The 2 brothers wandered aimlessly at the academy. Nico Su took him to visit some famous scenic spots. As they walked, Nico Su suddenly called out in a low voice, "Older brother, I have been thinking for a long time yesterday. If it weren't for you, Dad would have been executed. Female relatives would have been sent to the Imperial Entertainment Bureau. If it weren't for you, Lily would have been in danger yesterday. She might have been bullied by the Zhou family. If it weren't for you, the Su family might still be basking in the false sense of security after the disaster. Then one day, they could suddenly be wiped out." After saying that, he took big strides forward. Silently, he uttered a, "Thank you." Inside Sub-Saint Academy, Nico Su looked at that cloud deer and said, "It is the origin of the name of Yunlu Academy." Aaron Su said, "Scholars are elegant. Yunlu is a mount." Nico Su glanced at his cousin and corrected, "Not a mount. It's a wife." Aaron Su reconsidered the Sub-Saint. He muttered, "It doesn't matter. It's all about writing anyway." Recorded in the Cloud Deer Journal of the Academy. This cloud deer transformed into human form after sitting under Saint Gui to listen to classics. It then accompanied the Sub-Saint. They grew up together, forming a deep bond and eventually becoming husband and wife. The love between a human and Gui was unacceptable at that time and remains so now. However, Saint was aware of it. They did not break them apart. Instead, they supported their marriage. Saint said that great love knows no boundaries. It can be seen that as long as there is love, humans and Gui can be committed to each other for a long time. Since ancient times, love between humans and Gui has always been given nicknames such as the union of heaven and man. So what is the nickname of this Sub-Saint? Aaron Su nodded politely towards the statue of Sub-Saint. Nico Su respectfully bowed to Sub-Saint. Aaron Su's gaze swept around the hall, and he noticed that there were stone steels standing on both sides of the main hall, each as tall as a person. It's written on them, "Die for justice and loyalty, repaying the Lord's kindness. Leave a lasting reputation for 1,000 years, Hugo-tsang." Nico-su walked over and said, "This was left here by the sub-saint from the Imperial Academy." Aaron Su was very interested. Nico-su whispered, "This matter dates back to 200 years ago. It all began with the event called Fighting Over the National Religion. Defying Dynasty Fighting Over the National Religion event. Fighting over the national religion is about contending for the position of Crown Prince. At that time, Renong was in power as the Crown Prince. The position of Crown Prince remained vacant for over 10 years. The two princes were powerful competitors at that time. One was the eldest son. One was a prince born of a concubine. That noble lady was extremely charming and beautiful. She was deeply favored by Renong. Renong's plan to elevate the prince born of a concubine to the position of crown prince met with opposition from the civil and military officials at court. Renong issued several decrees, and leading the civil and military officials of the entire court at that time were the scholars of Yunlu Academy. Nico-su said quietly, "Only recognize the eldest son, not the younger ones. This has been the rule since ancient times. Even the emperor cannot go against it." "Elder brother, you are right. Rituals are the rebellion technique used by scholars." The fighting over the national religion lasted for a full 6 years. During this time, the chief minister of the imperial cabinet changed 4 times, and batches of government officers left the imperial court. Until now, a scholar from Yunlu Academy took over the position of chief minister of the imperial cabinet. He did not continue to adhere to the ideas of his predecessors. He decisively joined Renong's faction, and resolved the matter for Renong despite facing insults. The tumultuous fighting over the national religion finally came to an end. Yunlu Academy was detested by Renong because of this incident. He realized that the existence of Yunlu Academy was detrimental to the emperor's authority's rule. And at this time, Hugo-tsang proposed establishing the Imperial Academy to train talents by the royal government itself. And the decline of Confucianism began at this point. This is the origin of the dispute between Yunlu Academy and Imperial Academy regarding the orthodoxy of Confucianism. Aaron Su suddenly realized. The Imperial Academy is a national university, while Yunlu Academy is a private university. How could a private university possibly compete with a national one? Nico-su finished and asked with a tone of examination, "Older brother, what are your thoughts?" "I'm referring to the matter of fighting over the national religion, unrelated to academics." Aaron Su internally complained, thinking that if it involved academics, would older brother not able to come up with an answer? Aaron Su said with a hint of sarcasm, "On the surface, it's fighting over the national religion, but in reality, it's a power struggle. Scholars who want to realize their ambitions must hold great power. And the power of a country is fixed. When you hold greater power, others lose power. The highest level of party struggle is to sideline the emperor and become an uncrowned emperor." Nico-su originally just casually mentioned him. His face changed drastically when he heard this. Aaron Su glanced at him sideways. "What's wrong? Did I say something wrong?" Nico-su took a deep breath. "Please continue." Aaron Su nodded. No matter how powerful Confucianism's rebellion technique is, the emperor's authority is ultimately stronger. Holding the affairs of state is only temporary. Whoever it is will eventually be settled, because a subject will always be a subject. Nico-su asked urgently, "Is there a solution?" Aaron Su shook his head. "There is no solution to this matter. The imperial court is like a battlefield. However, older brother has another approach. One of the great Confucian scholars' deeds is a living example. When you can influence the destiny of a country, you transform from scholars who relied on the emperor's authority to strong figures who could sit on an equal footing with the emperor's authority." Nico-su's eyes lit up, a look of joy appearing on his face. Aaron Su said leisurely, "Nico is exceptionally intelligent. He is a talented young man. Aaron Su stopped talking. He was pondering a question in his mind. Although Yunlu's future in the officialdom was cut off, it was still a place where Confucianism was cultivated. As for the entire Confucianism category, it is starting to weaken. Is it because after the third rank, individuals in the Confucianism category must serve as officials in the court? Or does it involve something like the Confucianism destiny? Aaron Su asked. What does this stone tablet mean? Why was it erected here? Nico Su gazed at older brother inside. This is a follow-up to the orthodox dispute of Confucianism. Or you can say it's a part of it. Sub-Saint Sung was exceptionally talented and stunning. After establishing the Imperial Academy, it took him 13 years to finally create a very powerful educational system. Aaron Su was moved. Preserve heavenly principles, eliminate human desires? Nico nodded. Sub-Saint Sung believes that all things in the world follow a certain rule. This rule is called principles. Principles are the most essential things in the world. They are also the most correct. All things thrive by depending on principles. But people are amidst the chaos and complexity of all things in the world. People can lose themselves. People have lost principles. So Sub-Saint Sung compiled annotations for the saints, establishing a complete set of rules. Scholars follow this set of rules. They will not make mistakes, they will be correct, and they will conform to the laws of nature. This set of rules elevates loyalty, filial piety, and righteousness to the level of principles. When a ruler wants a subject to die, the subject has no choice but to die. When a father wants his son to perish, the son has no choice but to perish. Sacrificing one's life for a righteous cause, and being willing to die to uphold one's integrity. Aaron Su listened in silence. Suddenly he asked, What does Nico think? Is this right or wrong? Why do you study? What is the concept of scholars? Is it not to establish a heart for heaven and earth, change the bad fate for the people? Continue the legacy of the past saints, open an era of peace for all generations? But nowadays Confucianism follows the concept of preserve heavenly principles, eliminate human desires. Nico Su was stunned when faced with the questioning from his older brother. He stood there blankly without moving. He opened his mouth to speak, but it seemed like a mysterious force was blocking him. He couldn't find a way to get the words out. Aaron Su understood. This kind of force is called mental shackles. Aaron Su turned his gaze back to the inscription. Because of what you said earlier, that's why this monument exists, right? Nico nodded. The dispute between Yunlu Academy and Imperial Academy is an academic one. However, this monument has stood at Sub-Saint Academy for 200 years without being toppled. As long as it stands, Yunlu Academy will never surpass Imperial Academy for even a day. The head of Academy, with his white hair and deep knowledge, has sat in the Academy for over a decade. He attempts to refute what is recorded on the monument. He tried to establish a more mature and accurate set of ideals. But he failed. Aaron Su took over and said, Because it represents truth, represents correctness. Nico Su sighed. More than just the head of Academy. In fact, throughout history, the great Confucian scholars and teachers of the Academy have been competing with this tablet inscription. But no one has succeeded. The thoughts of a sub-saint are not something that an ordinary person can easily refute. Aaron Su made a guess in his heart. He pointed to the side and asked, What is the blank stele over there? Nico Su sighed and said, That is the stele erected by the head of the Academy. However, he has never written on it for over a decade. Later, students and great Confucian scholars tried to inscribe words on the stone stele to rival those of Sub-Saint Sung, but all the inscriptions would be erased the next day. However, the pens and inkstones on the table were left behind. Perhaps the head of the Academy is also holding on to a glimmer of hope. Unfortunately, the person whom the head of the Academy was anticipating never appeared. I used to think I could. I even inscribed on a stone tablet. Speaking of which, Nico Su did not continue. Apparently, he had no intention of sharing his past youthful recklessness with his cousin. Aaron Su faced the inscription on the stone tablet. leave a lasting reputation for 1,000 years. He fell silent for a moment before speaking in a low voice. Nico, older brother, asked you, which is more important, the king or the common people? Nico-su answered without hesitation. It is the common people. Aaron-su asked again, why do you study? Nico-su instinctively replied, to serve the country with loyalty. After speaking, he found himself stunned. Aaron-su continued to ask without any concern, will he really go down in history? Is it truly the lifelong pursuit of scholars? Nico-su did not reply, but his silence spoke volumes. The actions of the two great Confucian scholars from Yunlu Academy, who fought over Aaron's poem, also spoke volumes. Aaron-su sighed softly. If a ruler wants a subject to die, the subject has no choice but to die. Why is that? If a father wants his son to perish, the son has no choice but to perish. Why is that? Why can't this shitty society have more human rights? Aaron-su smiled and said, I am not a scholar, but I also want to write something. Nico grinds ink for me. This time, I want to write by myself. Aaron-su suddenly saw the face of the vendor from this morning in his mind. Clearly, he really didn't want to say no to silver, but he dared not ask for it. He looked pitiful, like a dog. The long-standing problem of corruption among the low-ranking workers of the Defying dynasty has accumulated for a long time. The court is full of loyal subjects, who constantly profess their loyalty to the emperor and love for their country. They have never cast a compassionate gaze upon the common people at the bottom level. He thought of Leonzo's arrogant posture when he galloped through the streets. He thought of the records of the government officer acting wantonly in capital city. The existence of extraordinary martial artists makes the drawbacks of the feudal dynasty even more vividly displayed. This situation also makes the common people at the bottom lack the courage to rise up in rebellion. At least in his past life, he knew of several grand peasant uprisings. But in this world, peasant uprisings don't even have a chance to form, and are quickly suppressed. Aaron-su took a deep breath. He picked up his pen to write. Unknown_1 has finished writing. Aaron-su only felt a clear and refreshing divine aura. The pent-up frustration in his chest dissipated instantly. He threw the pen and exclaimed loudly, this is what scholars should do. In Nico-su's mind, it was as if a thunderbolt had struck. The thunderbolt cleaved through the chaotic consciousness. He stared blankly at his older cousin, not sure if it was an illusion. Nico seemed to see a fleeting dense purple aura above his older cousin's head. Suddenly a loud sound. The nearby stone tablet suddenly cracked. A huge crack that ran through the top and bottom appeared. The brothers were taken aback. Before they could react, the entire Sub-Saint Academy shook. The Sub-Saint sculpture emitted a surge of clear aura, break through the mountaintop and vanish into the clouds. Strange phenomena could be seen for tens of miles around. Aaron-su hesitated. What's going on? It seems like trouble is brewing. Nico-su became agitated and spoke loudly. What trouble have we caused? What does this have to do with us? We have never been to Sub-Saint Academy. They grabbed their heads and rushed out of the door. Aaron-su quickly chased after them. Aaron-su did not expect that he had casually written a few lines of poetry. His actions are causing such terrible visions. However, he still couldn't help but show off, looking towards his younger cousin. Did I just solve an eternal riddle for the Academy? Nico-su instinctively replied, at most, it's a 200-year-old problem. Aaron-su asked, so what should we do now? If I were a newcomer to the Academy, I would suggest you stay where you are. You can wait to be worshipped and appreciated by the students and teachers of the Academy. But as I am now, I just want to take you away quickly. Leaving without saying goodbye is the best choice at the moment. Yunlu Academy and Imperial Academy are in a dispute over orthodoxy. While older brother accepts the gratitude of Yunlu Academy, he is bound to incur the hostility of scholars from Imperial Academy. The entire imperial court filled with high-ranking nobles are all from Imperial Academy. One tax silver case will bring endless troubles. And this is more dangerous and troublesome than 100 tax silver cases. Aaron Su sighed in his heart. Nico and I coincided in our thoughts without planning. Nico, you are really cunning. Nico Su retorted. You, a soldier, know nothing. And then continued to say, as long as we leave. Believe that the Academy will not spread rumors afterwards. They will keep it confidential for us. Outside Saint Academy, in the large square, everyone looked in the direction of Sub-Saint Academy where the anomaly was happening. When Haley turned around, she found that the head of Academy and 3 great Confucian scholars had already disappeared without a trace. Inside Saint Academy, in the spacious main hall, a clear aura ripples like a spring breeze, highlighting the figure of Scott Zao. He quickly scanned every inch of the main hall, and then his gaze focused on the cracked inscription of Sang Sub-Saint. 3 great Confucian scholars arrived shortly after. They all inquired about what had happened to the head of the Academy. How did the stone tablet crack? Miles Lee was the first to react. He thought this was a good thing. It meant that the seal-suppressing Yunlu Academy destiny was starting to falter. He suddenly noticed that the head of Academy was not in the right state. The state seemed to be a kind of being immersed in one's own world. A state of being absent-minded. Scott Zao kept muttering. Establish a heart for heaven and earth. Continue the legacy of the past saints. Open an era of peace for all generations. At this moment, everyone also noticed the words on the stone tablet. Troy's lips trembled. This is truly what a scholar should do. A scholar can serve as an official, serve the people, serve the country, and serve all living beings under the heavens. However, one should not study for the benefit of a single family or a few individuals. The great Confucian scholar, who is acclaimed to have great talents in governance, is now uncontrollably trembling all over. His voice is hoarse. It's an eye-opener. Scott Zao whispered. A gentleman remained silent. The 3 great Confucian scholars bowed and left together. The hall door closed. Quietness surrounded. Scott Zao stood silently in front of the monument. Behind him were intricate windows. Sunlight filtered through, dappling the space. After a long time, he bowed deeply towards the inscription. He sought wisdom. He could die at night. Haley lifted her skirt and finally arrived outside Sub-Saint Academy. Haley gazed longingly at the academy. She recalled the words of the 3 great Confucian scholars just now. The princess shouldn't ask more. For the time being, we also can't figure it out. Haley has a beautiful voice. The clear aura of Yunlu Academy is soaring, and the Sub-Saint Academy has been sealed off. Report this to Duke Wei. Ask him to closely monitor the academy and investigate the matter. The night watchman should respond with a hand salute. Haley continued speaking. You help me check a person. He is a law enforcer from Changle County office. His name is Aaron Su. Observatory Tower 8 Trigram's platform chief of the bureau sat in front of the desk. He silently gazed towards the northwest direction of the capital city while holding a cup of wine. Camila Chu beside him said, Master, when can I step into rank 6 and become an alchemist? The chief of the bureau smiled and replied, The moment you stop worrying about eating and can devote yourself to cultivating will be the time. Camila Chu replied while eating, that it's unlikely to happen in this lifetime. She swallowed the food and continued, By the way, fake silver burns easily and explodes when thrown into water. It's impossible to preserve. It's not good for reporting back to the Emperor like this. The chief of the bureau whispered, If the Emperor has nothing better to do, just tell him to go away. Camila Chu stuck out her small tongue. The disciple dare not speak these words. You should go yourself. Master, for senior disciple is almost possessed by evil. Aren't you going to do something about it? What are you talking about? The profound secrets of alchemy science have already opened up to him. Master, I think Aaron Su, this law enforcer, is quite impressive. Shall we just bring him into the observatory bureau? Master, what is grafting? Chief of the Bureau is angry. Can't you stop eating for a moment? It turned out that it is right not to talk too much when eating. Camila Chu asked the Chief of the Bureau various questions while eating. In a fit of anger, the Chief of the Bureau turned all of her food into rotted food. Camila Chu pleaded with the master to change it back. Only the Chief of the Bureau smiled. Master, let me teach you another principle. In the field of alchemy science, the vast majority of conversions are irreversible. Camila Chu left crying while wiping her tears. I will never come to accompany you, this old man. Yunlu Academy, elegant pavilion by the bamboo forest. Milesley said sternly. I have inquired. At that time, there were no students near Subsaint Academy, and I do not know who entered it. The handwriting on the stone tablet does not belong to any student of the academy. I don't think it was produced by our academy. Simon Zhang tapped on the table. If it is not a student of the academy, and is in the academy today. Only the Su family brothers, who happened to be out on a mountain hike. Milesley sighed and said, Thinking about that inscription makes me feel ashamed. Over the years, I have long abandoned the idea of an official career. I only wish to leave a lasting legacy and have my name recorded in history. Simon Zhang praised and said, Let me take charge of guiding the poem of encouragement to study. Milesley immediately changed back. Serving the country and the people is not contradictory to leaving a lasting mark in history. The head of academy, Scott Zao, gazed at Milesley. A strange light twinkled in his eyes. Are you close to reaching the fate-defying level? Milesley smiled and stroked his beard. In an instant, he suddenly enlightened and felt clear. The other two great Confucian scholars instantly felt jealous. Third-rank fate-defying level is a level for finding one's life goals. Everyone has their own destiny. The destiny of head of Academy Scott Zao is to establish a new school of thought for Confucianism. His destiny is to break free from the confines of traditional thinking and find a new path for countless scholars in the world. Therefore, if he does not achieve this goal in a day, he will not be able to break through to the second rank. Scott Zao's eyes are filled with divine light. From today onwards, the Subsaint Academy prohibits students from entering. This matter is not allowed to be spread outside. Then he spoke to the three of them. A gentleman should keep silent. The three great Confucian scholars all nodded simultaneously. Two spirited horses galloped swiftly. As they neared the capital city, the two brothers slowed down their pace. Nico Su voiced his inner doubts. Should older brother explain a bit? You're just enlightenment after all. How can you say such powerful words? Nico Su proudly lifted his chin. Those are words that only we scholars can say. Aaron Su really wants to scold him. But he can only think to himself. You scholars who don't understand anything also have the audacity to say in front of me that everything is inferior except reading books, right? I had completed modern education before being reborn. And in my era, we had the internet. I know a little about everything. You scholars are no different from 3-year-old kids in front of me. He pondered for a moment and changed his phrasing. You scholars are nurtured by certain thoughts. Over time, even if you realize it's wrong, it's hard to break free. That's mental shackles. Nico Su murmured and repeated. Mental shackles. The head of Yunlu Academy is also shackled by mental shackles, influenced by Tsang's academic impact. He wants to break through and find a new school of thought, but he himself is caught in a whirlpool. How can he lead scholars from all over the world to break free from the whirlpool? Only those who are outside the whirlpool can truly do it. Aaron Su was showing off, saying that perhaps it is because older brother, I haven't read many books that I can go off the beaten path. Only then can I be unconventional, innovative, and not bound by Tsung's philosophical shackles. Nico Su looked at Aaron Su with a spirited gaze. Older brother has the final say. Older brother is really powerful and amazing. Aaron Su looked scornful. Unfortunately, you did not inherit the excellent genes of our Su family. You inherited those of the Li family. Nico Su suddenly didn't want to talk to him. Older brother spoke. This will anger Mom when she hears it. She'll bang the table and scold you again. In Defying capital city, in front of a store named Treasure Shop, the boss sent Aaron Sue away unhappily. The reason is because this store had an event. Customers can get a 50% discount on jewelry by solving a word puzzle. Aaron Sue took advantage of this by helping women who wanted to buy jewelry solve the puzzles. But he had to split half of the saved silver with Aaron Sue. After Aaron Sue's involvement, the boss was basically running a losing business. Aaron Sue not only obtained the jewelry in this wave, but also made a lot of silver.